This video is designed to act as an introduction to the different scientists that had an impact on our understanding of photosynthesis. Now granted, there were a lot of people that were involved in this process, but your book kind of focuses in on 4 individuals that will take some time to go through and briefly talk about their experiments. The first person we have to talk about is Van Helmont. He's the first one going through this one chronologically. His experiment is the most simplistic, but it's also probably the most profound out of all of the different experiments. His idea was that he took a willow plant, so he's got a 5-pound willow sapling, he's got 200 pounds of dirt, which he weighed out when it was dry. He starts this little plant in the thing of dirt, and then 5 years later, he removes the willow tree, which at this point it's a tree, not a sapling, and dumps out all the dirt. He weighs both of them. The willow now weighs 169 pounds, 3 ounces. The dirt weighs 199 pounds, 14 ounces. So the dirt only lost 2 ounces of mass, whereas the sapling increased 3,400% in its weight. So what this showed Van Helmont was the idea that the mass of the plant did not come from the dirt. If the tree got substantially bigger, then if its mass was coming from the soil, the amount of soil would have gone down dramatically as well. What Van Helmont concludes from this is that the mass of the plant came from the water that he was putting into it. Now, it's not entirely true. I mean, that is part of it. There's also the factor of the carbon dioxide, but there's basically 2 things that allow the plant to get bigger. It's the H2O that it's absorbing from the water, but then also the CO2 that it's taking out of the air. The important thing about these 2 things is that this is the left-hand side of the formula for photosynthesis. These are the things, along with sunlight, that plants require in order to go through this process. So Van Helmont kind of started figuring this out. He knew at the very least most of plants' mass comes from something other than soil. He said it was water. It is water and carbon dioxide together. The next guy is Priestley. Priestley took things a step further. He was trying to figure out if plants then give off things as part of photosynthesis. And so the way he set up his experiment, and this does actually differ a bit from what's in your book kind of gives you like the PG version of this experiment. What Priestley did was he put a candle underneath of a bell jar. He lit the candle and he had a mouse under there. Now, as you can probably imagine, the candle burns up all the oxygen. Poor little mouse dies because he doesn't have any oxygen left to breathe. Then Priestley ran the experiment again. This time he had a sprig of mint inside the container, and he found that he was able to leave the mouse in there for a much longer period of time. The candle remained lit because the sprig of mint was producing oxygen. Now eventually this setup went out as well, but it took much longer, showing him the idea that the plant must be producing things. It must be producing oxygen that he couldn't see that's allowing the candle to keep burning and allowing his little mouse friend to be happy and healthy there. The last one to talk about is Ingenhousz. His experiment was probably the most abstract. I don't have a fancy graphic for this one, but what Ingenhousz did was he took aquatic plants. This is an example of Elodea, which is an underwater plant. You can see the little air bubbles that are attached to the side of it. When the plant is exposed to sunlight, it's going to go through the process of photosynthesis and produce oxygen. So Ingenhousz set up 2 experiments. So we move this a little bit to the middle. In one experiment, he had a plant that he exposed to light. So you've got our fancy sun here producing light. So that light then goes down to the plant and allows it to go through the process of photosynthesis. On the other side, he still had his light source, but he's shielding the plant now from the light source. So there's no light that can actually get to it. So he's got something up as a barrier in between. And then the only example with which the plant's actually going through the process of photosynthesis is the one on the right where it's exposed to the sunlight. And he can see this very obviously because it's an aquatic plant, so it ends up giving off these little air bubbles if it's going through the process of photosynthesis, whereas the experiment where the sunlight was blocked from it, he didn't see any new air bubbles, so he knew that plants needed sunlight in order to produce oxygen. So Ingenhousz kind of builds on Priestley's idea. Priestley knew that the sprig of mint was producing oxygen, but he didn't prove that it only does that in the presence of light. So as with the guys we talked about earlier in the year, with like Reddy, Spallanzani, Needham, and Pasteur, how they're all kind of building on each other. It's the same idea here. The most simplistic one is Van Helmont. He's saying that plants are requiring water and they're making most of their mass from the water. And then then Priestley kind of builds on that a little bit more, saying, well, that plants are also giving off things. They're giving off oxygen. You could prove that with the candle. And then Ingenhouse is saying, yeah, they're giving off oxygen, but only under certain circumstances, only when they're being exposed to sunlight. So each of these guys kind of build on each other's knowledge a little bit. And a good thing to know for each of them is just their general experimental design, which we kind of went through here, and then their conclusions. If you know that, you're pretty much set for our scientists. So even though these experiments seem kind of simple, these guys paved the way for all of the things that we'll be talking about this chapter that are much more complex. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in class.